Like Brian said, I'm Aiden. I'm a vocalist in 4th year. Thank you for having me in your class. I've enjoyed shadowing it. So what I have to do for you guys is a little 20-minute teaching presentation on a topic of my choice. So I've chosen sight singing. Before we get started, I just want to show of hands who plays what. So who's vocalist? Nice. Drummers or percussionists? Cool. Piano? Yes, guitar. Bass? Nice. Any horns or strings? Cool, cool. And did I miss anything? Alright, cool. So I was in this class in 1st year, and I remember how it was tricky to get started for sure if you haven't kind of been in this environment of ear training. Like, we all do ear training a little bit as we grow in our musicianship, but doing it in this context can be kind of difficult to get a hold of. The one way that I kind of internalized ear training the best was singing with other people. So whenever I'm in like Lisa's jazz choir, and I've been in other choirs, so my sight singing was obviously put to test in the wild, the best there, and I actually learned the most because I find it's helpful when you have people to act as references. So for finding pitch, working with rhythms, I always think it's easier when you have people there doing it with you instead of you just sitting alone in a room wondering what the heck is going on. So we're going to do some sight singing right now together as a class. Who here, show of hands, feels really awesome and comfortable sight singing? Okay,
I
good.
can't even sight read on my instrument on most days.
Okay, there we go. So
That's
we're all
I'm okay.
at least not super confident, which means we can share this learning experience together. Okay, so I'm going to split the class up into 3. So maybe you 4, how many? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Okay, so maybe, yeah, you 4, and then you 4, and then you 5. Cool?
Nifty.
So this 5, we're gonna do the first exercise on the page. Okay? So all of these exercises are in C major, as you can see. So I'm gonna get this part of the class to do the bottom line. I want the middle guys to do the middle, and this side I want you guys to do the top, okay? So we're in the key of C. Okay, wow, I was gonna ask you to sing your starting out. Perfect. Okay. So we're gonna do it nice and slow. I'll count you and I'll give you 1 bar of counting, and then we'll do the progression. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, cool. That was great, but it was really quiet. So let's do it on an ah, okay? And we'll do it a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. You guys sound like a choir already. Okay. Let's do the second exercise because that sounded really nice, and we'll switch up the order. So let's get the middle ones to be on the bottom now. You guys be in the middle, and you guys be on the top, okay? And let's do the second progression on the second step. Stay there. Okay, so from what I just played, can you guys sing your notes? Who's on the bottom? Okay. Can you guys sing your note? You guys are on the bottom, right? Okay, so the bottom note on the second staff, what is it? What's the name of the note? Okay, it's a G. So, sorry, the second one down. Yes, bar 6, yeah. Okay, so it's a G. So in the key of C, G is the, right. So you guys can sing it the octave down too. You don't have to sing it if you don't want. Okay, so could you guys sing G for me? Anybody? Nice, okay, and then who's on the next note?
Us.
Yep, and that is a B, which is? Yeah, everyone sing out, sing it. Okay, cool, and then you guys? True, okay.
Try to sing too.
So does everyone have their starting note? Okay, cool. Let's try to sing that progression that we have. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. Okay, cool. So those are pretty simple. Obviously, yeah, no, come on in. So let's talk a little bit about how to think about sightseeing. So these ones are pretty straightforward, so maybe you weren't even thinking of how you were getting the next note. But does anyone have any strategies that they implement when sightseeing? Yeah.
Intervals?
Intervals. Perfect. Yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah.
Scalarly, so like in these ones they like move up and down in scales sort of. So
Totally.
if you think of it in a scale, it's easier to.
So like thinking of it like in the key.
Yeah.
So like the relation that it is to the key of C, obviously. Perfect. Anything else? These are kind of easy because they're all diatonic, but say we're looking at maybe a less diatonic progression, how would you maybe think about it then? No wrong answers. Anything that you may think of? Any ideas? Yeah?
Think about a piece of music where you hear that movement in it. So
Right.
you have like, if you have a fourth or whatever, you can try and think from your note
Right.
and just do something.
Yeah, so that's
Relates
kind
to
of like a mix of intervals and like what it relates to in key. Totally. Those are, I think, the basic ones. That's what I use for the most part. Yeah?
Looking ahead and finding when a note repeats or like a motif repeats.
Totally.
You know when you get there, you'll have to be back at the other place that you were.
Yeah, that's a really, really good tool. Kind of like finding anchors or like reference pitches that you can always kind of go back to. Another one that I was thinking of is what the tone is in the chord. So separate from the key, so you have a bunch of crazy changes or whatever, you're looking at the chord, and this is where you would have to be able to name what the chords were, so tying in theory, it all kind of mixes together. So if you were going through a piece like this, you could write down, you could figure out what the chords are, and then maybe figure out the tone that you're singing. And if that's a way that you can kind of find reference, that's also a good tool. But I find that's usually better for music that's less diatonic and has kind of more complicated changes. So yeah, basically the three that I was going to say were voice leading, which is kind of like intervals, and just, you know, you're looking at your next note, okay, that's a major second up or a major third or whatever. I also thought of the number system, so that would be diatonically in the key, this is the fourth, this is the fifth, etc., which is what you said, and then chord tones. So, kind of having that in our brains, does anybody use one of these? Let's show of hands, who uses voice leading often when sight singing? Okay, cool. Who uses like the number system? Like, okay.
Never really sang.
Okay, cool. That's fine too. Okay, so kind of having these in our brain, I'm gonna split you guys up into groups. There's progressions where there's 4. I think maybe we'll have one group of 4, but the rest we'll just do groups of 3, okay? So just group of 3, 3, 3. Oh, perfect. Okay, so you can choose one of the first 2 that we just did if you feel like you don't really want to go up, but they kind of ascend, creep up, and level a bit. So choose one with your group that you guys think you can nail. I'm going to give you like 3 minutes. And then we're going to do a mini performance, okay? And ask me if you need any questions, have any questions.
So,
Do you have
Another one?
Yeah. Hey, bang. Yeah.
So maybe I'll put it there instead of taking. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
yeah, why don't you just try something?
If you guys need a hand, ask me if you have questions.
Oh, wait, sorry.
Okay, so who wants to do what part?
So I can do the bottom.
Cool.
We'll just
So,
find
and then
like lines for each of us. So who wants to do the bottom?
Okay, so
Oh, wait. Now I'm just singing major scales. So,
so then you're
Make sure it's going from the C to the G.
yeah, fair.
I'll take it.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so what do we think we're done?
So we're there for 4 parts. Oh, okay. 1, 2,
So off the first note, can you find it?
Sorry.
So
I don't know if I'm doing it right.
So we have.
do you want me to
Doing the right note finger, you're not
Oh wait, did I have the same finding?
I think you guys have scale together.
Yeah.
Our scale together. So
Do you want to play? She's doing major third. Yeah. Here's these. So you're on track.
I think just the second one is really weird. Yeah.
So your first note is
Okay.
You guys do your hand?
Yeah, just like keep kind of singing the same.
Okay, which one are you guys doing?
Just the first one.
Okay, so who's on the bottom? So you guys want to start? I'm doing it.
Yeah.
This is try to sing out and just sing to the fifth.
Okay, here it is. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And then you have here.
Okay, so yeah.
I was in the middle.
Yeah.
I think,
What's the?
like obviously you guys know anything on that.
Yeah.
Better to keep your mistakes, right?
Yeah. Okay, maybe let's just like move yours because I
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Do you want to play together?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to play. Let me ask, can we go outside so we can hear? Well, we're just gonna do quickly, we're gonna work on them as a class. Yeah. So just like 1 more minute, guys, 1 more minute. So here, why don't you turn it down as we go, okay?
It's back to the same note.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so
Okay, let's try the other one again. 21.
okay, guys. Okay, don't worry if you don't feel completely done. We're gonna work on them together, okay? So, do I have one brave group that wants to come up to the front? Don't worry if it's not perfect. Sure. Okay, awesome. Thanks, guys. Alrighty. So, which ones did you guys do? 11.
Like bar 11.
Oh, true. Okay. So, does everyone see where they are? Bar 11, which is the third down. So maybe sing along in your head, but we're just gonna listen to them perform this beautifully like angels. Okay, so key C. Okay, ready? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. Great job. Stay here. Did did anybody kind of recognize that progression? What it sounded like? Okay, do you want to sing it again? And this time listen, see if you recognize the progression, because it's one you should probably all kind of know at this point, or recognize a little bit. Do you need starting notes? You guys good?
Yeah, we're good.
1 second. No, wait, could you guys just sing your starting notes for me? Okay, cool. That's okay. Any ideas of what that was? Yes. Okay. It was 1-6-2-5, and it's only 3 parts, so we didn't have all the tones the whole time, and the bass note wasn't at the bottom, so it might have been kind of hard to hear. But it was basically a 1-6-2-5 one progression. So that's one that we should all kind of recognize and work on because we hear it all the time in the music that we do. But that was really good. So I'm gonna ask you guys, what did you use? How did you think your way through this? And anyone?
I did like the voice leading thing. My line was pretty simple
Okay.
Yeah.
because it was pretty diatonic.
Yeah,
but,
that's same with mine. It's just,
Yeah.
I found voice leading was like the easiest thing for me to do in that case.
Yeah.
Or maybe I guess like relating it to the key because I started on C. So.
Totally. So I think like with a progression like this where you're usually only moving in major seconds, maybe, I don't even think there's a major third jump here, is there? No, you're all just moving in major seconds. I think that for this kind of thing, that's the best tool to use. You don't want to overthink it, right? If you're not doing a bunch of jumps, you don't need to think in intervals. Just kind of look ahead to the next one. So yeah, perfect. Okay, thanks guys. Good job. Okay, anybody else want to give it a go? If you don't think you have it, maybe we can work on it as a class. Yeah. Cool. Thanks, ladies. Which one did you guys do?
The next one.
The next one. Okay, do you want me to play E? Sure. Okay, so they're doing the 4th stage staff, which is bar 16. Nice. I think the only strange note maybe would have been in the 2nd bar.
Did I go to the wrong third?
I think you went to the, what note were you on?
2. I was in the middle one.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't know, can you guys sing the first, just sing
The
again.
first 2 bars.
Sing again, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Cool. Yeah, I think that was pretty, I think that the only thing was that in the middle line, and the middle line is always the hardest to do in general, so props to anyone who chose the middle line. I think it was pretty close, maybe just a little bit of tuning. Okay, did anyone recognize that? Yes. Okay, that was a bit easier because the bass notes were in the bass, right? So, what was I going to say? Okay, I want you guys to sing it again because this, I think, can help for me. For tuning, sing on the same vowel because I think some of you guys are ooh, some are mm. So just try doing an ooh. An ooh is nice. Is ooh a cool vowel for everyone? Yeah. Okay, try doing it on a new and see if that kind of influences your pitch at all or if it doesn't make a difference. Okay. You guys have your notes? 1, 2, 3. Nice. So did anyone else notice that the tuning was a little bit clearer on that one? So that actually is a big help. Vowel sounds, choose one and agree on it, because in a piece of music, if you're reading, you guys in general aren't going to be you're not going to be singing different words at the same time, right? But that's in a choral setting, so it's kind of different. But I find that it is easier to just hear reference to see if you guys are in pitch. But did you guys have any kind of thoughts on how you approached it, or was it kind of similar to the last group, or?
I do intervals most of the time.
Cool.
From the root.
Yeah.
And then just stepwise, because they're just stepwise, so that's
Yeah.
super hard.
Cool.
I think I did like scale reference for the bass note.
Yeah, totally. And when you guys were doing it, did you recognize that it was a kind of a 1-6-2-5 thing?
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, so that really does help knowing those common progressions, because we see them time and time again, and you start hearing those diatone lines. You hear the root motion, and those just kind of get stuck in your head. So if you're looking at this and you go, oh, I'm just singing the bass line of a 1-6-2-5, I know that, right? Like, you know more than you think you do. You might look at this and be like, oh, I don't know that at all. But then you hear it and you go, oh, I totally recognize that, right? So, awesome. Thanks, guys. Good job. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else want to give it a go? Okay, cool. Don't be nervous. If we need to figure something out, we can figure it out.
I think probably yes.
Okay, you want to play the key again?
Yes.
Okay. Which progression are you guys doing?
31.
Nice, ambitious. All right. So these guys are going to do bar 31. Okay, let's just figure out our starting notes first before we dive in. So who's on the bottom?
C.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Nice. All right, and who is the? Okay, that's okay. Are you the middle note?
Yeah, the flat 7.
Okay, so that's what I was gonna ask. What is he singing in this chord? It's the flat 7, right? So can you find that from the? Yeah. Is there? Yeah. Nice. And how did you find that? Did you find it from like?
Oh, I keep practicing intervals, so I try to not stepwise count it, but try to practice it by just directly going
To
through it.
hear it, yeah. And like a lot of us probably did that starting by like knowing songs that start with that interval drum. So that's a good way to start. But yeah, the idea is you just kind of want to go, oh, flat 7. Ding. Nice. And then, perfect. Okay. You guys want to count it? Or do you want me to count it?
1, 2, 3, 4.
I think that was pretty good. Except for the second last chord was maybe a little bit, the tuning was a little strange.
It's back to the same, right?
Let's try one more time and sing out a bit, okay? Don't be afraid to sound bad. Okay. That was good. The first two were really good. The second, the pitching, the
Can I
tuning.
hear just my line?
Yeah, sure. No, totally. Oops, sorry. Do you guys want me to play your parts?
Am I doing it right?
Yeah? And your bass is. Okay, so let's try one more time now that I've played the notes.
Right. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I think you guys basically all know.
You just dab?
So for this one, what kind of progression-ish is this? Anybody?
Is that like just 1, 2, 2, 5?
No.
I've heard of Dom.
Yes, you did. You heard a couple.
Yeah.
You heard
1, 4, 5.
all, actually.
Oh, good.
Yeah, exactly. So what's 1, 4, 5 all dominance? What is that? Exactly. So this is more in a blues tonality, right? So that's another way to think about it instead of thinking of, oh, okay, I'm singing all these. You're just kind of thinking a lot of dominant chords, blues. And so it's basically, does anybody know what the progression actually is here? I think you said it basically.
1 5 4.
Yeah, which is like the end of a blues, right? The end of the blues section. So how did you guys think about it when you did it?
I think of it like structurally, actually.
Like chord-wise?
No wise, because I start on the E and then I go back to the E at the end. So then I thought
Right.
that sort of like as a structure, it's kind of like the other two notes are just outlining the E. So it's
Cool.
like E up and then just.
I guess
oh,
it's the
E.
same with.
That's a really, kind of like approach tones.
I saw like a pattern. I was like,
Yeah, that's a really great way to approach side singing, I find. Yeah?
I think it was the same approach because it's probably moving in steps.
Mm-hmm.
So like the scalar pattern going
Right.
up and then.
So you almost see
Yeah.
the pattern where it's going. And
Yeah, just intervals like bar to bar, just because it's short.
yeah.
So I can just look at it and see that the first one's a perfect fifth, and then down one step back.
And the thing is, this makes sense. So these two guys who had more kind of linear parts, they thought of it more in like note to note, kind of seeing the pattern. But what's
Q.
Q,
Yeah.
who's singing the bass notes, is singing more in intervals because he's singing in leaps. So you definitely imply different strategies at different times, right? Whichever one is going to kind of be the most helpful and make the most sense. But I thought that was great. Good job, guys. Think? Yeah.
11:17.
I know. Oh, okay. I think we're over. So, unfortunately, no. It's only like 20 minutes, and I've gone for like 25 minutes. So, unfortunately, you guys might just have to do a hallway performance for your friends. But hopefully, that kind of helped a little bit. It's obviously a large topic that we have to cover in a short amount of time, but keep this if you want. Try singing stuff with your friends. There's space on the back. Write progressions. That helps too. But yeah, any questions? I'm around.